Are you a he for she? On April 9th, 2020, the IoT Day, Sudha Jamte and I will host a 4 hours live streaming event. We will dedicate that event to those women that was nominated by you for their work in IoT, IT, and AI. Thanks for being that awesome guy. My name is Roxy Stimson, Vice President and Chief Technology Officer at IoT Laatsch.
Internet of Things makes our cars driverless, our homes connected, our cities smart, and factories run seamlessly. Artificial intelligence combined with IoT data is where the business value is created.
Imagine yourself in the driverless world.
Hi, I'm Sudha Jamte. I teach IoT and autonomous vehicle business at Stanford Continuing Studies. I enjoy mentoring business leaders of all backgrounds and all industries to build mobility infrastructure and business transformation to get us ready for autonomous vehicles.
I hope to see you there. Thank you.
So up next, we have Laatsch from Harley, Davidson. Please help me welcome Cindy.
Thank you for inviting me. I just wanted to speak a little bit about my connection and how I fit into this IT world. I work at Harley Davidson Motor Company. We are the world's manufacturer of super heavyweight motorcycles. And I work in what's called Global Information Services, or the GIS department, what a lot of people refer to as their IT department. And my interesting bit of information is I am a global manager for IT at a worldwide global manufacturer, and I am not an IT professional. And why I am is because I have developed a skill set that I found can move me through IT, through sales, through whatever's required. And my current focus right now is our IT department, because at Harley Davidson Motor Company, not one thing occurs, not one thing, whether that's an email that's sent, whether that's a file that's saved, whether that's cloud storage that we're working on, or whether a production plant is running. Every single thing ties back to the IT department. And as a woman in the IT department and as a manager, I found that it comes with a certain amount of work to being trusted and following through with my commitments. I am a believer that the baseline for every communication I have with my IT peers, with my IT vendors, with my peers outside of Harley, we call them stakeholders, is to have a foundation of trust. And that trust comes from consistently delivering an amazing IT experience. And the best IT experiences for most people means they don't even notice it. And by that, I mean, when you are doing really well in the IT department, I'm in service operations, you are running so silently and so effectively that people are not even aware that the systems are being patched, that you're running updates behind the scenes, or that you can so effectively patch systems that in between the production times, the 3 minutes when the production changes over, we can actually deliver that service to our customer and they're not even aware of it. And what's important to me is understanding the tools we use to do that and the metrics we use to measure success. As an IT person, we all know that if you cannot successfully measure your performance, are you meeting your goals? Are you delivering average? Or are you exceeding your goals? Without a measuring stick, without a tool, you don't know where you are in the performance game. And we use ServiceNow very deeply in our whole IT business, whether that's the help desk that takes the calls, creates the tickets, and then sends that on to our offshore teams to fulfill, or whether that's the help desk people themselves really utilizing first call resolution to meet our stakeholders' needs. The other thing we need to do effectively is use ServiceNow to run with our desktop support people, because oftentimes the desktop support engineer is the only IT person that people really see and connect with. So being able to effectively manage their tickets, to seek approvals, to get the approvals, to go through the cab and make sure the changes are deployed appropriately. All of that is done right now through ServiceNow. And as a tool, we use that to trend. We use that to reflect on what are we doing? How are we exceeding our customers' expectations? And we do that by I contact every single person who has any level of a question in their ticket. I call them and ask them, what could we do better? And that was a revolutionary concept when I started working there, because we were awesome technologists. From what I learned, I was a consumer of the technology before that. But when I came into IT, what I realized is this incredible balance of balancing the amazing technology that most people won't even know or see with what our stakeholders' needs are. I love when people call me and say, I need a system, the hog department, Harley Owners Group. They called once and said, I need a system that runs 24/7, that does all these amazing things. I said, great, we can deliver that. And if we deliver it, it comes at this cost. And through a trusting, open, honest conversation, we talked about, do you really need 24/7? Or is really 5 days a week, 8 hours a day? But what we found through my coming into this process is developing conversations and trust and understanding the passion of our stakeholders. That's when we really started to deliver effective IT solutions.
That's wonderful. And so how big is your team right now from service desk and other part of your IT department?
Absolutely. Previous to 2014, Harley internally did all the work, meaning we coded, we programmed, and at that point, we realized we needed to bring in a provider assistant. So we went with Infosys. And Infosys, offshore in India, I visited their campuses there. They're an amazing, passionate group. And so we really dovetailed well together, because Harley people can tend to be passionate about what they do. We have a staff of 300 Infosys workers offshore. I have an offshore help desk, and I have an onshore help desk, which is actually very small. It's located here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it's 16 people that work from 6 in the morning till 8 at night, and then we turn it over to our offshore providers. But there's such a continuity of mission, of process, which I also found to be very important. In this IT world, you can have fabulous tools and you can have amazing metrics, but if you don't have a process for continuity, you can really disrupt what the stakeholders require. So we have 300 people offshore. I have a handful here in Milwaukee. And then I also have 14 global desktop support teams that support, whether that's Thailand, whether that's Bangalore, whether that's Carson City, Nevada. We have on-site staff that really is the feet on the street that can so relate to our stakeholders and take what to them might be a very complex IT issue and change it into the realization that we need to do an update or we need to life cycle your computer. So looking at the staffing and then how we trend with our service tickets through ServiceNow has really been vitally important, that we understand what our stakeholders' needs are.
So what would you do when you decide to spin up a new customer service desk or a service desk team in a different part of the country? Do you manage those as well, or there's a process already in place that you just press a button and things happen?
You know, I love that concept of pressing a button, because when I first started in IT, we had the executive assistants that work, there are very few at Harley, but they're very highly placed, and they had some level of frustration with the help desk. So what I did was I booked a half day where we took them all to the help desk, and we paired each one with a help desk agent, and they took calls for 4 hours. They listened to the calls, and they realized the complexity of their job. And one of them even said, I thought there was a button you pressed to get the right answer. And what we found is there is no magic button, but through that collaborativeness, we have really learned to work well with each other. We opened up a factory in Thailand recently, and we really went through that process. The physical factory was built, and then Adam, a gentleman who works for me, went to Thailand and spent months there ensuring their technology was in place, and then teaching them our processes. Because once you learn the continuity of process, your service delivery really has a solid foundation. So our real goal is to replicate and then let each federated group run with Juneau Avenue, which is the main Harley, as a single point of contact, but each individual location really needs to work with their clients in the way they need to work with, often in the language that is more relevant than we speak here in the US. So it's very personalized to the individual and the country.
Thanks, Cindy. So what part of this, I guess I'm going to cut this part out. The part that I would love to hear from you is what the latest digital transformation effort that you have as Harley Davidson that you're proud of, and you actually is the main key player for your company.
Absolutely. Digital transformation is vital to any manufacturer, but it's very important to a manufacturer that's been in business since 1903. That's how long Harley has been around. So as we look at how are we digitally transforming our business, one of the things that we're doing recently is we're using bots to go out and do highly repetitive work that our human staff used to do. For example, I have a bot and it's got a name and it's got a personality, and the bot is responsible for going out and culling spreadsheets of data and then bringing it back to create knowledge rather than just piles of spreadsheets. And human beings used to do that. But at this point, the bot goes out, the bot gathers this information, and the bot comes back and delivers it. And then the humans that are involved in the process can take that raw data and add value to it. That was what we found was missing, is it took so much time and it didn't really have the value. So we're transforming by looking at bots. We're transforming by looking at what in our ServiceNow business can we automate. Once again, how do we automate? We found that by asking the people that were on the front lines, which was our help desk, what could we do to make your life easier? They immediately showed us pain points within the system, which were easy to automate if we could carve out the time to have our offshore engineers automate that in ServiceNow. So some of the things we used to do manually, they're now automated, which gives them the important time to do the reflecting, to do the thinking, to do the deep thought, which is required in IT to often resolve problems that either continue or are new. So we're using bots, we're using automation within ServiceNow, and we're finding that by automating our production facilities as well and tying them in with technology, we are producing uniform, great product that delivers to our dreamers, as we like to call them, deliver those motorcycles in a way that they get the machine that is exactly what they need, and that fulfills their vision and dream of Harley. And we do that all through understanding how IT works internally and looking for transformational things.
Excellent. That sounds very transforming, that's what I would say. and the part that I'm curious about is you mentioned earlier in our conversation outside this call is Harley has transformed drastically due to the COVID-19. Tell us more about that and how fast you guys respond to this.
Absolutely. So the COVID-19 came on so quickly that we have really never had our call centers that are customers focused working off property. But with this new world we're in, we had to respond rapidly. We had to respond fast. So working with our desktop support people as well as our offshore and onshore sites, we were able to turn, using technology, a rapid delivery of technology, laptops where they're needed, and creating the access so people could continue to work in their call center, to continue to support our customers, to continue to support those dreamers that wanted to continue to own and ride. And we did that by quickly analyzing what we had in stock, repositioning the technology where it needed to be, and then through process and then one-on-one contact, work with each stakeholder to ensure they were delivering a quality product to our dreamers. And no one who calls those numbers really knows or needs to know that it was a group of IT professionals that were behind the scenes working early in the morning and late at night to solve these technological problems. What we want is a seamless experience for them, so that when they want what they want, which is really what everyone wants, right? I want what I want as a customer. Harleys do as well. So by quickly delivering in this new COVID experience, we could reposition our technology where it was needed and support people that are working at home for the first time, and then give them ongoing support through articles, information, posts, or through our help desk. So they're supported from the very beginning to the end. So we were able to quickly transform our business and be very nimble. I like to say, let's all be fluid, because if you're fluid, you change with the time. So that's my goal as an IT professional, is let's seek transformation, and we'll do it through being fluid.
What would you share with somebody actually out there listening to you, want to change career, a little girl out there in the world, and say, you know, what career should I choose in the future? What message would you share with that particular future stars?
That's a really involved and fascinating question. Is I didn't go out to choose to be working in the IT department at Harley. I managed our corporate training school for many years. I also bought and sold Harley dealerships for many years. But I felt there was a need in the IT department for someone with my skill set, and it had really not been done before. They wanted to become the importer and exporter of talent throughout the motor company, meaning let's move people into IT that are non-traditional, and let's move people from IT out into the larger business in a non-traditional way. So I challenge everyone, and especially that young girl or that woman that's looking to say, what do I want to do with myself? The first thing I had to learn personally was I had to trust the skill set I had. I had to understand that what I had to offer, although different than some of the IT professionals I work with, was important and valid for our stakeholders. And I knew it in my core, and I got into a place where other people valued that as well. But I really believe the first step in that process is you have to have deep beliefs that how you are experiencing work, how you are experiencing your view of the world, how you experience goal setting and achieving your goals, you have to have that deeply understood in yourself. And I didn't initially. I had trials and errors. I had missteps where I tried something in another part of my life and it didn't work. But what I found was, just as we have to transform in IT, we need to always be, right, 5, 10, 15 minutes ahead of our stakeholders. We have to be thinking what's around that next curve. We have to do that too as women and as young women that are entering the workforce. We have to realize we need to be anticipating. We have to be looking forward. And as we have to transform in IT, I firmly believe we have to transform as people. And how you do that is you continue to read. You continue to grow. You seek educational opportunities. You challenge yourself to go where you're not comfortable. I'm a big believer of do something that makes you uncomfortable at least once a day, because then you know you're learning. So a lot of it has to do with the self-development that occurs. Challenge yourself to step outside of yourself and really trust who you are. I trusted my communication skill set and stepped into IT. And because of that, a whole new world opened to me. And it truly came from, I understood who I was, I had a gift to offer, and I was at that right place at that time.
Well, Cindy, it was a wonderful, wonderful time that I get to spend with you today and get to know you more. And I do believe what you share was so from your heart. I always passionate about whatever I choose to do, and I'm the opposite of what you were. You are in the past. I'm the technologist that love to branch out and work with business people and passionate about whatever skill set I want to learn at that moment in time to grow. And that is a wonderful wrap up, and it's a great connection I love that we had together today. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.